What's cracking, everybody? Benji Bruce here, Speaking Lifestyle. We're going to get going for today. Let's see who's hopping on real quick. Today I want to talk about, should you produce content or should you not as a speaker? This is one of the questions that was asked inside of the Speak Pro Academy, and I thought it was a really good question, especially the way he worded it. In fact, I'm going to read it, and this is one of the things where a lot of people are just confused. There's so much advice out there. You don't know who to pay attention to, who to ignore. Everybody's telling you create a podcast, do this, do that. Everybody has their own opinions about stuff. So you're not really sure what exactly should you be doing. And so I want to read what he wrote. Let's wait a few seconds to see who's hopping on real quick. What's up, Glenn, Ari, all the other people who hopped on that I can't see. So what's up, everybody? And by the way, if you have any questions whatsoever about your speaking business, make sure you ask them right here, right now, right today. That didn't make sense, but make sure you ask them right here on the Facebook Live, and then I'll answer them after I'm done with this. What's up, Alex? So here's the question that was actually asked, a question or comment inside the Speak Pro Academy. So he said this. He said, it seems like a ton of speakers and trainers are creating a lot of content these days. Podcasts, blogs, Facebook, YouTube live broadcasts, etc. And frankly, that's led to a mild case of frustration and can sometimes lead to my head spinning. Is this something that is expected and that I need to do also, or is it like chasing two rabbits? I have to remind myself of my primary goal at this stage of the game is filling up my speaking schedule. And I know what has gotten me hired in the past, referrals and direct emails to event decision makers and association chair people. Help me out with this. Somebody, I feel like, or I still feel like I'm not doing enough. And when I scroll through Facebook and LinkedIn, it can be disheartening to see one live video after another. Am I the only one who struggles with this? The only one that struggles with this? I thought this was a great question. It was worded great. Everything about it was really good. And so, what he mentioning here in terms of the content, here's what's happening. So nowadays, everybody's producing content, right? Everybody and their mom is producing content. You hear everybody tell you got to produce content. In fact, you even see me producing content. And so you're like, should I do it? Should I produce content? Everybody's doing it. It all comes down to what's your end goal? What's the end game? And so like here, he mentioned that his primary goal at this stage is filling up his speaking schedule. And so he understands what his end goal is. And all you do, you already know this, all you do is you figure out what's your end goal and you reverse engineer that end goal. The problem people have when they reverse engineer anything is they reverse engineer from what they already know. The problem is you don't know what's going to get you that goal because you don't have the knowledge. Like you just don't know what's going to get you there. So you are basing your current decisions off of what other people are telling you to do and what other people are reading in books and all that stuff. So you don't really know how to get to the end goal. So you just kind of see what people are doing. You see the most visible people are creating content and all that. So you think to yourself, I got to create content. Everybody's doing it. I got to create content. And so just because you have an end goal of this thing does not mean you have to produce content. And I'm going to go into this whole thing in just a second, but we really got to get into this because the reason why I split up Speaking Lifestyle and the Benji Bruce stuff and why I'm going to stop talking about building your personal brand and building an audience and content and email and all that stuff. I'm going to stop talking about that with Speaking Lifestyle, and I'm only going to talk about that stuff with the BenjiBruce.com website. The reason I did that is because people are getting insanely confused, and people are getting confused because of all the bad advice that's out there. You have to understand that if you want to get on stages, you do not need any content whatsoever other than a video of you on a stage and testimonials. That is all you need, literally. I can't stress this enough. For some reason, nobody believes me. Hey, what do I know? I built a 7-figure business doing both of them. Hey, what do I know, right? And so you guys got to understand that very few people are making money with content, like very few. Nobody will tell you that. Everybody's faking it. Damn near everybody's faking it. And nobody's going to tell you that they're producing content, doing these Facebook lives, YouTube lives, LinkedIn lives, Twitter lives, or Periscope, whatever the hell they use. Everyone's doing all this. What they're not telling you is they're not making a damn cent. That's what they're not telling you. Just because you see all that and it's visible to you, you feel that FOMO, fear of missing out. You're like, am I missing out on something? That's why I like the way he works. worded this where he said, is this something that's expected and that I need to do also? And then where else did he say? But basically it's kind of like he felt like he's missing out on something. Everybody else is doing it. Should I do it? And so here's what a lot of people don't understand. Even the people producing content, they're still doing it wrong because people are producing content. They don't understand that content consumes your time. It consumes so much of your time that most people do nothing else. They don't do the things that actually generate revenue in their business. They do everything except the things that generate revenue in their business, like producing content. And you have to understand that when I'm producing content, think about this. What is it? We're doing from 9 to 10 a.m. max. That's just an hour of my time. Then however much of my time it takes me to write down these notes. So that's, let's say I write down notes for the entire week. So it takes me a few hours to do the notes for the entire week of Facebook Live. So let's say it takes me 6 hours total to actually create an entire week's worth of content for Facebook Live. What am I doing with the rest of my time? Well, what I do with the rest of my time is the thing that actually makes me the money. That's what I do with the rest of my time. What most people do is they produce content. That's all they do. They're not spending a dime on advertising. They don't have a funnel, nothing. That's all they do. That is why they're not making any money. Understand content consumes your time. And so you're sitting there, you're creating video. You got to create the video. You got to think about what video to even create to begin with. You got to edit the video. Or if you're not sending it to an editor, or if you're not doing live sessions and things like that, you're creating photos for Instagram, all this stuff. It takes a lot of time. And so you're taking all this time to produce content. You're not spending any time generating sales. And then before they know it, once again, they're faking it, and then they're just like, why is this not working? I feel like I'm running in circles. And so it's content just consumed, especially like your mind share. That's the problem with a lot of content, is it's consuming what's happening inside of your brain. So you're thinking to yourself like, well, what do I say? Like, what are some new ideas that I can come up with? And so you're not focusing on sales. It's consuming everything inside of your brain. And this is why you hear Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks a lot about people faking it and all these content creators faking it and everything. He talks about it a lot because they don't have a business. They're producing content. Anyone can produce content. Freaking a 2-year-old kid can press a button, go live, and they can be, anyone can do that. And so that's why everyone's doing it, and then everybody's faking it, and everyone's acting like they're making money from it. That's why Gary Vee keeps saying all these people keep faking it, and then eventually the economy's going to crash, and all the people who are faking it, they're going to end up working at McDonald's. And so that's one of the reasons why this whole fear of missing out thing, you have to stop paying attention to other people. And that's why I like Diddy. There was a whole thing with Diddy. It was like, what is it? Type in like Diddy come up or something like that, or Diddy motivation or something like that. I think it was Diddy my come up. And one of the first things he said, he's like, everyone wonders like, how do I do? What do I do? Like, why am I so successful? He's like, let me tell you a secret. My secret is I don't pay attention to what anybody else is doing. And that's the level that you have to get to, because when you pay attention to other people producing content, you start to think that you're missing out on something. You're thinking like, why? I mean, should I have a podcast? Should I be creating content or what? And so the only time you need to create content is when you understand its use. Everything that you do, you think, how do I use this thing? Like, should I be using this thing? Is it going to actually produce the end result? And so before you produce content, if you're going to build a personal brand, before you do that, you need to have something to sell. This is where everybody goes wrong when it comes to producing content. They produce content without a damn thing to sell. So what happens is they're spending all this time, energy creating content, Instagram stories, photos, videos, Facebook Lives, all this sort of stuff. They're spending all this time doing it. They're not making any money. And when you don't make money, you feel like you're just jumping up and down, like you're not getting anywhere. You're running on a hamster wheel or something. And then what happens is, before you know it, they end up quitting, because if you're not making any money, I mean, you end up quitting. It's like, hey, what's a business without making money? And so people just don't have a sales process. This is why the first thing I tell people to do when they join the Speak Pro Academy, I say, okay, one, there's the website thing. Then right after that, you have to set up your CRM. The CRM is helping you with your entire sales process. Before anyone starts contacting events, finding and contacting events, they have to set up the sales process. This is why so many speakers struggle with their whole cold email and cold call, and there's no sales process. They just say, you know what? Benji said, let me send some emails. So they go online, LinkedIn, they send someone a LinkedIn message. There's no sales process behind it. They just send a message, and then it's just like, oh, I didn't get a response. Oh, stuff doesn't work. And that's what they do. They have no sales process in place. Same goes with building a personal brand. People start producing content, no sales process in place, got nothing to sell, no sales. And so what you're doing in terms of should you produce content or not, it always depends on your end goal. Like, what exactly are you trying to do? Here's what you do not do. You do not say, here's the thing that I'm selling, here's how I'm going to sell it. You do not do that. And so it reminds me when speakers say, you know, my speaking topic is XYZ. How do I find gigs on this topic? That is the exact wrong way to go about doing business. Instead, what you say is, here's the thing that here's the market I'm going after. Here's what they buy, and here's what I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them what they want to buy. And so that's what you're doing with everything. With creating content, everything. And so you reverse engineer everything you do. What people are doing, what speakers are doing nowadays, because nowadays everyone's saying be the expert and everything. So what speakers are doing is they see a tactic, a marketing tactic or method, podcast, content creation in general. They see all these tactics and they say, how do I take these tactics to get gigs? Instead, they should be saying, how do people hire speakers? And now I'm going to reverse engineer how to get in front of them. That's what you should be saying. You reverse engineer. People are trying to take tactics and force them to fit into the sales process. So you don't want to do that. You just simply ask, here's what I'm selling. How do people buy this thing in terms of what I'm selling? That you have to reverse engineer everything inside of your brain. And so it's very similar with the whole selling your expertise and getting paid gigs, like getting paid as a speaker. Think about it like this. There's boxing and then there's MMA. Boxing is what everyone knows, you know, the gloves, boxing, all that. MMA, in case you don't know that, that's the closest thing to real fighting. And so getting paid gigs, being like a motivational speaker, that's more like boxing. Selling your expertise, that's more like MMA. Boxers specialize in punching. That's what boxers specialize in. You punch and don't get punched. It's like, that's what boxers specialize in. They don't kick, they don't tackle you to the ground, none of that stuff. They specialize in one thing. MMA people, UFC people, they're doing everything. They're jujitsu, karate, taekwondo, boxing. They practice everything. And so they have different things to pull from. But if you take an MMA guy, put him in with a boxer, he gets absolutely destroyed. And then the reverse is also true as well, because they're two completely different things. Just because they're both fighting, just because boxers fight and MMA people fight, that doesn't mean they're the same thing. It doesn't mean they're the same freaking sport. The same goes with speaking. Just because you want to get paid gigs, and getting paid gigs as a motivational speaker, it's very different than you selling your expertise. Get this through your head. This will be probably won't be the last time I say this, but it is bothering the hell out of me that people are confusing this. It is different. Getting paid gigs, selling your expertise, very, very different. It's boxing, MMA. Boxing, MMA. Different skills are required for each business. And so what's happening is speakers over here are saying, I want to get paid gigs, but they're looking at the people over here. They're looking at people producing podcasts and content and selling online programs. They're looking at people over here. It's like a boxer who says, I want to be the greatest boxer in the world. And they start looking at MMA guys, because MMA guys, let's say boxing doesn't go on TV or anything. So they don't see other boxers. All they see on TV are MMA guys. And so it's everywhere. And they think, you know what? I'm seeing all these MMA guys, and all these MMA guys, they're practicing jujitsu, they're practicing taekwondo, kickboxing. You know what? As a boxer, maybe I should practice some jujitsu and all that. And then all of a sudden he now loses every single boxing match because he no longer specializes in what boxing actually is. That's what speakers are doing. Just because, let me tell you something, the speakers who are getting on stages, doing motivational speeches, getting paid to speak, you do not see content by them because there's no reason to create content. Zero reason to create content as a motivational speaker. Well, no, let me reverse that. Zero reason to create content as a paid speaker. All you do as a paid speaker, you contact events, show them your website with your video, your testimonials, and you get booked. You show up to the event, you do your presentation, you record your presentation, so you got more video footage, you record testimonials, so you got more testimonials, and then you market yourself again the same way. It's a circle, it's a little cycle. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. What confuses everybody, once again, you have speakers over here who say, I want to get paid to speak. And they're looking at people over here in the wrong industry. And then they're saying, oh my God, I'm not doing those things. Maybe I should do those. And then when they do those, they now get distracted and they no longer get paid to speak. I'm telling you right now, almost every single person who's producing, who creates a personal brand that you see producing content and all that, almost every single, not almost every, a lot of them, I'm telling you, have hit me up. I'm telling you, gurus that you know, very well-known people have hit me up asking me, how do you get paid to speak? I want to get paid to speak. They're like, I built this multi-million-dollar personal brand, but I'm not getting paid to speak. How do I get on stages? I'm telling you that because they're producing all this content, making a ton of money selling programs, their own events, all that stuff over here, but they're not getting paid gigs because it's two completely different businesses. I'm going to slap people if they don't get this anymore. It bothers the hell out of me. So you have to understand they're two different businesses. What you do is you reverse engineer your goal. And this is why luckily, the Speak Pro member where he said, hey, my end goal is to get paid gigs. Like that's his end goal. So it's good. You start with the goal. My end goal is to do this, get paid gigs. Or if your end goal is to sell online programs, or if your end goal is to do your own workshops, or your end goal is to do coaching or whatever. So you start with the end goal and you reverse it. Now, once again, this is where it's hard to reverse engineer when you don't know it yourself. I can reverse engineer because I've done both. Like I built the paid gigs section and I've done the personal brand section. I know what daily activities are required to do both. And so that's why I know they're completely different. And so you reverse engineer. You say, I'm going to get paid gigs. Now, what's required to get paid gigs? You simply say, okay, one, who pays speakers? Who exactly pays speakers? And I'm telling you right now, pretty much the only people who pay speakers are companies and colleges. High schools technically, but they don't pay much. So that's why I don't really include them. But companies and colleges. And so when people say like, well, what other industries pay? There's pretty much nobody who needs your services. That's what I'm saying. That's why you reverse engineer. You say, all right, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. Who the hell pays for motivational speakers? Companies pay for motivational speakers. Okay. Yeah. Cause they do like the annual parties. All right. Colleges, they pay just because it's more like entertainment based. And so that's what you do. Nobody else freaking needs a motivational speaker. And so you reverse engineer that way. At that point, you simply think, all right, conferences, they technically pay the main keynote speaker, but they do not pay everybody else. And so you gotta truly get this. The only reason they pay the main keynote speaker is just because it's usually a celebrity speaker whose purpose is to get people to the event. And so the main keynote speaker at a conference, like Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, whoever they bring in, the big time, well-known guy, they understand that, hey, this may not be the best speaker. In fact, they almost never are. The main keynote speaker is almost never the best speaker in the room. The only exception that I've seen was Gary Vaynerchuk. He actually is a great speaker. But usually all the other celebrity speakers, they're not good speakers. They're not great at all. The purpose of those guys is when people see a well-known name, they're like, oh, I got to buy a ticket to this event just because they see the well-known name. They just want to be around that person. And so you got to like reverse engineer stuff. And that's how you get to your end goal. And so I'm telling you, you just simply say, what are they buying? What exactly are they buying? If you want to get paid gigs, what are they buying? They're buying an entertaining speech. That is what they're buying. You are not going to go into a company who they spent decades trying to figure out problems on leadership and all this stuff that they're doing. You will not go into a company and tell them something they do not already know. You thought about their business for a couple minutes. They thought about their business for decades. You cannot create some type of insight that they don't already know. This is why companies understand when they bring in a motivational speaker, it is not the job of the motivational speaker to tell them something they don't already know. It is a job of a motivational speaker to add to the culture of the event, to add to the experience of the event. To come in, you are basically an entertainer. That is literally what you are. That is how you get paid. If you market yourself as anything other than that, you will not get paid. You will now put yourself in a position of a personal brand, and you will have to speak for free. You will not get paid to be on a stage because you're positioning yourself as an expert. And you're saying, I'm an expert on body language. I'm an expert on this thing. You can get paid by being an expert, obviously, but you will not get paid to be on a stage as an expert. The way you monetize expertise is by putting on your own events, selling your own products, or any products really. You get paid that way through advertising. Let's say you build up a huge YouTube channel, now you monetize it. That's how you get paid. But I'm telling you right now, damn near every single expert is not getting paid to speak. They're not getting offers to get paid to speak. They get offers all the time in terms of, will you come speak at our conference? But it's never paid. And the only time is they will say, we'll pay for your flight and hotel. And that's if you're semi-known too. So you have to understand it. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you, when I've gotten emails from these very well-known people, if I were to screenshot the emails and send them to you guys, you would know exactly who these people are, because they come to me and say, I want to actually get paid to be on a stage. And right now, everybody's just offering it to me for free. And so I'm telling you, there's multi-millionaires who have the same problem because they're focusing on building the expert business instead of getting the paid business and getting the paid gigs. It's two completely different things. Think about it like boxing and MMA. So in the beginning, I used to describe it as basketball and football, but that's not really a good analogy because everyone knows that they're really, really different. Boxing and MMA they're both fighting. They're really similar, but they're also really different. That's how the expert business and the paid keynote speaking business is. They're very, very different businesses. Just because they have similarities, it doesn't mean a damn thing. And so you have to get it through your head. If you want to be an expert, if you want to sell your expertise, be a platform speaker, at that point, you're thinking like, how do you monetize that? You monetize it through online programs, through live workshops, and that's where you're writing your books and all that sort of stuff. That's how you're monetizing that. And once again, you reverse engineer. You say, all right, if I'm going to sell an online program, how do I sell that online program? And then at that point, it's advertising, build up an email list, make an offer to the online program. That's how you sell online programs. Same goes with a workshop. You want to do your own workshops, you advertise the workshop, you get people to sign up for the workshop, then you do the workshop. And so none of it requires outbound. Like when you are building your personal brand, very rarely do you need to do outreach. And so there's a couple things in terms of maybe you do, but it's like 99% inbound marketing when you are building up your expertise. When you are trying to get paid to speak, it's outreach, it's outbound marketing. Now think about this for a second. The people who are getting paid to speak, they're reaching out, meaning they're not producing any content. They don't have podcasts, or they don't have YouTube videos, none of that stuff. So it's not visible to you. Like nobody sees what they're doing. Whereas people who are producing content, everybody sees it. And then, so it's just more visible to the whole world. And now everyone thinks, oh, maybe I got to do this because everybody else is doing it. What you don't see are the people over here making a ton of money, not producing a single piece of content. And so you just have to truly understand the difference between the businesses. And so basically, nobody wants to do the boring stuff. And that's why I've come to the conclusion that what actually makes you money in your business is almost always the things that you don't want to do. Every single time. Like literally every single time. If you want to do a thing, it is almost always the thing you should not be doing. And that's why I said creating content. That is not where you start. If you are trying to build a personal brand, you're trying to sell your expertise, you do not start with creating content. You start with creating a product, like, hey, let me actually create something to sell, have a whole funnel with it. And now you have the sales process down, and then eventually you start to create content. But what actually makes the money when you're selling your expertise is advertising, spending money. If you are unwilling to spend money on advertising, you will never build a personal brand. You will never sell your expertise. Mark my words, never, 100%, you will never build it. Even if you go viral, you will not make money. If you go viral one time, that's your one hit wonder, and you will end up being like, what's that Gangnam Style dude? Like, Gangnam Style. Oh, 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 oh. You're going to be like that dude. Like, you want to be Jay-Z. You want to be Diddy. You want to be Beyonce. You don't want to be the Gangnam Style guy. One hit wonder, Vanilla Ice. You don't want to be those people. And so that's why people are producing content thinking it's going to go viral someday. And then even if it did go viral, you'll generate money right then and there, and that's it. That's the end of your career. You're done at that point. And because you have no sales process in place. And so on the other hand, if you do something like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Diddy, 50 Cent, you actually produce Eminem, like Dr. Dre, you actually start building a real business, then you start generating money. And so to actually generate revenue, once again, it's the things that you hate doing, which means if you want to get paid to speak, 99.9% of your time is spent doing outreach. You are cold emailing, cold calling people. You are not producing content. You do not have a podcast. You're not doing any of that stuff. If you want to sell your expertise, if you want to be the authority, if you want to basically be Grant Cardone, if you want to be Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, at that point, you have to spend money on advertising. Otherwise, you're going to be producing content. Nothing's going to happen. You'll generate a sale here or there. You will not build a real business. And so once again, getting paid gigs, outreach, selling your expertise, advertising. If you're not doing either one of those, you are not building a business. You will not make any money. You can disagree with me on that, but let's see where you are in 6 months from now. So you just got to understand that, hey, it's not about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's necessary. That's what it comes down to. Remember, you reverse engineer everything. Content creation is really easy. You pick up your phone, just take a photo, pick up your phone, hit record. Content creation is easy. And I've realized that if it's easy, everybody else is doing it, which means that it's damn near always the wrong thing to do. And so keep that in mind. The only thing that you need to focus on is how many sales did you generate in a day? That's what you need to really focus on. So if you are producing content, if you're trying to do content and sell your expertise, build a personal brand, the only thing that matters is how much money did I make today? That's what matters. You're not sitting there saying, all right, so we got 30 likes on this picture today. Okay, so we got 120 likes on this one. Okay, cool. All right, and now our YouTube subscribers have increased by 100. All right, cool. We are successful. That's not what you do. You got to understand that a real business generates money. And so you can't run away from it. For some reason, everyone thinks money's bad. You can't talk about money. Oh, money's bad. Oh, it's money hungry, greedy, and all that sort of stuff. No, money is the oxygen of business. If you don't have money, then you can't do anything. And so you have to focus on the sales you're generating with everything you're doing. You're producing content. How many sales did you generate in that day? You're sitting there spending all your time creating content and you made $0. And so you just got to figure out like what's actually making the sales. That's the only metric that matters in business. And so, like I said, most people are creating content and they're not making any money because it's a low barrier to entry. When any industry has a low barrier to entry, a lot of people come into that industry. What's required for you to be an expert? What's required for you to be a speaker? What's required for you to be a coach, a consultant? What's the requirement? The requirement is for you to simply say, I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I'm an influencer. That's the only requirement. There is no barrier to entry. Unlike being a doctor, in order for you to be a doctor, you can't one day wake up and say, I'm a doctor. Well, unless you're Frank Abagnale from Catch Me If You Can. That's what he did, but he was a con artist. But basically, you can't just wake up one day and say, I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. You can't just do that. It's a high barrier to entry. That is why not everybody and their mama is being a doctor. And so when it comes to speaking and coaching, consulting, all that stuff, because it's a low barrier to entry, there's a ton of people in there, and then a ton of people are faking it, acting like they're making money. In reality, they're not. And so understand that low barrier to entry industries have very few people that make money. Think about that. Low barrier to entry industries have very few people who make money. And so that's why you have to ignore the stupid ass advice that almost everybody is talking about in these groups, in these associations, all that stuff. I'm telling you right now, when people are giving advice, they're giving book knowledge and they haven't done it themselves. And because of that, they're sitting there giving book knowledge that's status quo knowledge. And then all of a sudden you try it, you realize, hey, something's not working. Why is it not working? And you become frustrated. And so you have to keep all that inside of your head. So should you create content? Once again, it comes down to what it is you're trying to do. This is why I like what Joel posted, where he's like, hey, my main goal is to get paid gigs. He understands what he's trying to do. And because of that, you stay focused. If I want to get paid gigs, what's going to get me those gigs is reaching out to people. Reaching out, cold calling, cold emailing. That's what's going to get the gigs. If I want to sell my expertise, then what exactly am I selling to begin with? Is it coaching? Is it an online program? Is it an event? What exactly am I selling to monetize this thing? And then let me reverse engineer, which is always you spending money on advertising. That's what you're really doing in terms of whether or not you should create content. If you are trying to get paid gigs, you do not need to create content. Let me stress that again. You do not need to create content if you want paid gigs. The only thing you need to get paid gigs is video footage of you on a stage and video testimonials. And even then, the video testimonials is kind of like the cherry on top. You don't actually 100% need video testimonials, because all people really want to see is just, hey, what is this person, what are they like on a stage? But really, you need videos. That's what you need. You don't need to be producing motivational content or anything like that. People are looking at someone like, look at Tony Robbins as an example. This is why I said, hey, if Tony Robbins were to come out with a program on how to make money as a speaker or how to get paid gigs as a speaker, I guarantee it would be wrong, because that's not what he does. And so I would easily put my program up against any one of these top-notch guys, freaking Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, any one of them who comes out with a speaker training program on how to get paid gigs, because they do not do it right. They are building their expert brand. So if Tony Robbins were to come out with a speaker training product on here's how you host your own events, here's how you make money as a speaker by hosting your own events, hell yeah, I would freaking buy his damn program. I mean, because it would for sure be one of the best freaking programs in terms of actually hosting your own events. But Tony does not get paid gigs. Like, he gets paid gigs because now he's a celebrity and people offer to pay him. But in the beginning, like, basically remove the celebrity factor and he wouldn't get a single paid gig. What he would do is he would be hosting his own workshops, getting people to pay him to be at the workshop. You have to understand what business someone is engaging in, and then that tells you like what daily activities they're engaging in to produce the revenue. And so that's why so many people are getting confused with this whole thing, which is why I split up Speaking Lifestyle and the Benji Bruce thing, because the Benji Bruce thing is going to talk about here's how you sell your expertise. Here's how you build and monetize an audience. Here's the motivational stuff. The Speaking Lifestyle is going to be just presentation skills, and here's how you get paid to speak. And so you have to truly, truly know the difference. You do not always need to create content. It just depends on what you're trying to actually accomplish. And so ultimately, if you need someone to help you, then join the Speak Pro Academy. That's what we do inside Speak Pro Academy. I basically just help you guys with the whole thing, just to get clear on what it is you're doing. And so that's pretty much all that I have to say on that. If there's any questions whatsoever, make sure you ask them. If not, then I guess we are done for today. Let's see if there's anything I missed here. So let's see. So basically to answer your question, Joel, it is like chasing two rabbits. That's what's happening when people are producing content and all that. It's like you're chasing two rabbits. And this is why I said what you ultimately want to do. Let's say you want to get paid to speak. What you ultimately do is you say, I'm going to get paid speaking gigs until I reach $200,000 or whatever, $250,000 or $100,000, however much. You just set a specific income goal. You say, I'm going to get paid gigs until I reach this level. Then after you reach that level, now you can expand. Now you can say, all right, I'll start producing revenue with different streams of income. Now I'll create an online product. Now I'll write a book. Now I'll do coaching. Now I'll do my own events. But if you try to do both, then you don't understand how much effort goes into actually producing an end result. Even if all you want to do is let's say sell coaching. Coaching is the easiest thing to create because you're not really creating anything. You're not creating like videos for an online product or anything. All you have to do for coaching is you just write a sales page and bam, now you have a coaching thing. So coaching is the easiest product to create. And then if you want to sell that product, you're spending money on advertising and building up the email list, offering that product. You have to truly understand the difference. I'm telling you, it's like boxing and MMA. Sure, they're both fighting, but getting paid gigs is like boxing, and selling your expertise is like MMA. MMA, they do all sorts of things. Taekwondo, kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, all sorts of things. Just like selling your expertise. There's plenty of ways to monetize it. There's writing books. There's selling online programs. There's the workshops. There's plenty of ways to monetize your expertise. But if you say all I'm going to do is get paid speaking gigs, then the only way to monetize your speech is the thing that you are monetizing. And so just like boxing, the only thing you're doing is just throwing punches. That's the only thing you're doing with boxing. You're not worrying about people tackling you, kicking you. And so that's the difference. So just understand the difference. I'm not seeing any questions. I just see people who joined. So I don't know if you guys just aren't asking questions or what. Like maybe I'm just that great and everyone's like, man, he just answered everything inside of my brain. Oh, dang, what? So I see the questions there, but I don't see any questions on here. All right, so let me see this. Let's see some of the questions here. So you said, my end goal is filling up schedule as well. Yeah, so if the end goal is filling up your schedule, all you're doing is just outreach. That's all you're doing. So let's see. I already said I used to produce content and it got me a whole lot of likes, but never got a speaking gig from it. Yep, exactly. That's what people don't get. So it's like everyone's producing content. I'm like, I'm telling you, you're not going to get gigs from it. Hey, what do I know? I built both businesses. Sure, listen to me. Don't listen to me. I'm telling you, like in several months from now, you're going to be very, very disappointed because they're two completely different businesses. And so let's see. You said, on another note, did you ever consider using Zoom for your daily Facebooks? Either just ask questions and type. Nope, not at all. I would never use Zoom for this. All right, so Wani said, oh my goodness, this is so me. I'm like, what do I share on my social media today? Even though my end goal is speaking, I'm a geek and I have to be posting and nurturing. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you have to understand that people who are making money, like most of the people who are making money in the world, aren't actually online producing content. Get that. Everyone needs to get that in their heads. 90% of people who actually make money aren't producing content. And so all they do is they say, here's the thing that actually makes me the money. I'm going to keep doing that thing over and over again. It's just like how I said, my friends out here, it's 7 figures a month. They have zero content online, zero whatsoever. All they did, and they're selling their expertise, by the way. So if anyone can produce content, it is them. But they're not, because they have a sales process in place. They say they have an ad. They spend a lot of money on ads. They spend like 50 grand a day or even more on ads. I think now they're at like 100 grand a day on ads. So you spend money on ads, it goes to an opt-in page, and so it says, hey, sign up to get this thing. And then after that, it goes to a webinar that just sells them on the product. That's all they do. They produce zero content, and they're making 7 figures a month. And nobody can see this. All people see are the wannabes on Instagram, Facebook. They see the wannabes producing content, and then everyone's like, maybe I got to produce content as well. And you have to hang around people who are actually making money. People who actually make money know what makes them money, and they do that over and over and over again. A lot of people have shiny object syndrome. You cannot have this shiny object syndrome. So just get it through your head in terms of reverse engineering everything that you do. All right, so preach it. All right, so you said I need this. Yep, just comes down to focus. Scam TV. Don't know what you mean by that. Maybe everyone's scamming. Yep. She said, do Chamber of Commerce's pay? Some of them do, but not really. Once again, it all depends, by the way. So if you want to get paid gigs, it depends on where you are in your career. So, in the beginning, you can't afford to say, pay me. Like, you can't do that in the beginning. In the beginning, you speak for free, you pay to be on a stage, whatever you need to do to get video footage and then testimonials. So remember, all you need to get paid to speak is video footage and testimonials. If you do not have those, you have to speak for free. And so once you have them, then you have a great website and everything like that. Then you can start asking people to pay you. But whenever someone says, like, do the Chambers of Commerce pay? Yes and no. It's not about knowing if someone pays. It's about knowing if they will pay you. And that's what I want to stress to people. Aflac pays speakers. 100%. They pay speakers because they paid me. But the question is, will they pay you? That's what you have to be asking. Not do companies pay, or do colleges pay, or does this industry pay? The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. No matter what, it's always yes. Does so-and-so pay? Yes. Like, it's like conferences, right? So when I say conferences don't pay me. They don't pay a lot of speakers, but they do pay Gary Vaynerchuk. They do pay Tony Robbins. They do pay Grant Cardone. They do pay those people. And so the answer to does so-and-so pay is always yes. It's just a matter of, are they going to pay you? And so that's what you have to focus on, which is why you contact people to find out, are they going to pay you? Not a speaker, not do they pay in general, but do they pay you? That's why you have to contact people to figure that out. So let's see. Ari said, I had trouble breaking into the college market. I've spoken to professors and deans, and they all tell me that they don't pay for speakers. Maybe I'm talking wrong, and I'm talking to the wrong people. Should I be reaching out to someone else in colleges? The people you want to reach out to colleges, it's the campus activities people. So that's how you're reaching out to colleges. And once again, it comes down to positioning. So remember, this is why so many people struggle to get paid as a speaker, because once again, they're confusing selling their expertise with getting a paid gig. If you are not a motivational, entertaining speaker, you will never get paid to speak. Like, you cannot build a very great paid speaking gig business by not being an entertaining speaker. And so you're literally like an entertainer if you want to get paid to speak. And so that's why when you approach colleges, you're approaching them more like it's a fun, motivational experience. That's kind of what you're really doing. If you're saying like, hey, here's my story, here's my expertise, and I know about, if you're approaching them like that, they will always say no. They're like, absolutely not. Like college, they're going to get bored as all hell. Absolutely not. And so that's what happened. And so I remember, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, I remember seeing someone posted that it seems like nobody's paying speakers anymore nowadays. And it's just because what you're seeing is that nobody's paying experts. That's what you're seeing. People don't pay experts. They pay entertaining ass speakers. And so because of entertaining ass speakers, they're not producing content. You don't see them. Like you don't see them online. You like, unless you actually know the name and can go to their website, you just don't see them. They're not visible. They don't have a podcast. They're not creating YouTube videos. They're not doing any of that. They're getting paid to be on a stage. You're looking at experts who are trying to get paid. You're positioning yourself as an expert trying to get paid. That is why you're not getting paid. And so you have to understand, how am I going to monetize my expertise? If you want to build up an expert brand, you got to think about how to monetize it. You will not monetize it through paid gigs. People don't pay speakers, or they don't pay experts. Instead, they want the expert come in, share their advice, and then you sell from the stage. You sell your product from the stage, or you sell an online program online, or you sell the workshops. So you got to understand how to monetize all this stuff. And so if you confuse the two, you're going to spend years like just wondering, why is this not working? And none of this stuff seems to be working. So you cannot confuse the two. All right, so let's see. All right, so Ari said, it will seem to me that expert businesses pay better than speaking business. No, well, yes and no. So Ari said, it seems to me that the expert business pays more than the speaking business. So once again, it's almost like saying, being a real estate agent pays more than being an insurance agent. Yes and no. You can't lump everybody into the industry, because once again, there are 99% of people in this industry, in the expert business industry, aren't making any money. And well, it's like any industry, really. Real estate, insurance, speaking, entertaining. Most people in the industry aren't making money. And so neither one of them pays better. The expert business has more opportunities to make more money. Like there's plenty of opportunities to make more money, but neither one of them pays better because it's just a matter of how good you are in each industry. So when all I did was just get paid gigs as an entertainer and speaker, I didn't produce any content. All I did was just get paid gigs. I made more money than every single expert out there right now. Like, well, not every single expert, but you guys get the point. Like most of the experts out there right now producing content, selling programs. I mean, I was doing a little over $500,000 just getting paid gigs. And so that's all I was doing. And I made more money than all these guys who want to be experts and everything. And so it was just because I understood how to do this thing. And so once again, when I started building the expert portion and started doing more online stuff, the same goes with the payment, to where if you just get good at it, you can get paid with it. So it's just a matter of how good you are at each one of those things that determines how much money you make. Said, Benji, you're funny as hell. I try to be. So let's see. Nick said, Ari, you need to talk to administrators. All right. So you spent over a decade creating content. It was completely a waste of time and energy. Yep. So you say you can't take likes to the bank. Yep. You said, who are the administrators? All right. Cool. See, is it worth my while to do public speaking before I have the money to join the Speak Pro Academy? Well, I mean, so you never want to let anything stop you. Like you never want to wait on anything or anybody, no matter what. So even if you don't have the money to join the Speak Pro Academy, you still want to do what you think is right. Like you're watching all the free content. You hear me talk about reach out to people, send cold emails, do cold calls if you want to, reach out to people. You're not going to do it right, but at least you're going to be doing it. And then when you do join, then we'll work on how to do it right. So you're going to be doing it, and then you're going to get, like, some people are going to respond and all that. You won't really get the real, like, results all that quick, but at least you're going to get some results just because you're doing it. It's like how I said, when I started, I didn't buy a program when I started. I did everything wrong. But because I did so much, eventually somebody said yes. And so that's what you want to think, Nick, to where it's not about waiting until you join the Speak Pro Academy. You do what you have to do right now. You work on your website, make it as good as possible right now without my help. Work on your cold emails without my help. And then eventually you say, finally, I got the money to join the Speak Pro Academy. You join. Now I come in and I say, your website is trash. Your cold email is trash. Let's fix it. And so that's what you really want to do. Just don't wait for nothing or nobody, in terms of you actually taking action on anything. So let's see. You said, do you need to spend money to get paid gigs? It's to get paid gigs. It's more about spending your time to get paid gigs. So you got to spend some money, like you got to get a CRM and stuff like that. And if you want to do Google AdWords and you're spending money on that, I don't recommend Google AdWords to begin with, because you will lose a lot of money with Google AdWords when you don't know what you're doing. Like if you're not really good at it. So that's why, like in the beginning, you're spending more of your time rather than money. And then when you do spend money, it's more of you're spending money to get other people's time. So it's more like you hire a VA and now you train the VA how to do the outreach as well. I don't think people realize that most businesses make money from outreach, not inbound. And it's just a matter of what's visible to people. Inbound marketing, content, and all that stuff, it's visible. You can see it. Everybody sees podcasts and YouTube videos. Everybody sees that. Nobody sees outreach. Because outreach, I'm sending you an email. Like I'm sending Ari an email. The world doesn't see the email I just sent Ari. The world doesn't see an email I sent Maggie. The world doesn't see that. But most people make money doing that. Instead, what the world sees is a couple people are producing content. Everyone sees that and they think that's how you make money. That is not the truth. I'm telling you, most businesses make money from outreach. And so it's one of the reasons why when people said GDPR and all that killed cold calling and cold emailing, I'm like, it absolutely did not. Damn near every business would be out of business if you could not cold call and cold email. I'm telling you right now, every business would lose so much money it'd be ridiculous, because that's how businesses make money. And so I don't know why I just went off on that tangent, but sometimes man, sometimes I just go off on tangents for some reason. Oh, do you need to spend money to get paid? That's why I went off. All right. So yeah, just understand, like, you don't need to spend money to get paid gigs. You need to spend a lot of time to get paid gigs. She said, how to identify those people who can hire us to speak without spending too much time and energies. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. You spend your time and your energy to identify people to actually make money. This is one of the problems that I see nowadays. Well, I guess it's not even nowadays, is everybody wants to make money by doing very little. And so the only way you can do very little is if you have a lot of money to pay other people to do a lot. That's the only time that you can spend very little time. And I see this with a lot of very good looking women here in Vegas. It's called the industry. Basically, they want to make money just by looking good. They want to make money for doing nothing, and they expect to make all this money for doing nothing, literally. And so you can't have that thought process. You have to understand that, yes, there is a lot of hard work. You do have to spend a lot of time and energy. Even if you're doing inbound marketing, if you are doing content marketing, you're producing content, podcasts, all that stuff requires a lot of work. In fact, it requires more work. It is harder. That's the funny thing to me. People don't understand that building an expert brand, building a personal brand, selling online programs, selling your expertise, producing content, that is harder, and it takes more time than getting paid to speak. Why? Because if you want to produce an expert brand and you want to sell your expertise, you have to learn how to spend money on advertising. You got to get good at traffic. You got to get good at content creation, making sure it doesn't consume all your time. You got to get good at copywriting. You got to know how to write the sales pages. You got to make sure you're good with the technology, like producing a funnel. You got to know how to design stuff. You got to know images. You got to know all this stuff over here. Like, so much, it's stupid. Like, there's so much that you got to know and do. It's dumb. It's one of the reasons why people don't make money doing it. And people just fake like they're making money. Over here, when you're getting paid gigs, all you have to learn is cold emailing and or cold calling. All you have to do is outreach. That's it. And so once again, that's why boxing and MMA is a perfect example. With boxing, all you have to really learn are just a couple things. Like, you got to, all right, make sure you don't get hit. All right. You're not getting hit. Make sure you know how to hit. And it's like just a couple things. Footwork. That's it. That's all you need to know. On the other hand, if you are an MMA guy, you got to know all kinds of things. Like, you got to know how to hit. You got to know footwork. You got to know how to, when they tackle you to the ground, you got to know all sorts of things. This is harder than this. But because everyone sees this, they think, oh, I got to do this and it's easy and all that. That's not what actually happens. So understand that building a personal brand is way harder than freaking getting paid to speak. But no one actually thinks it's harder. So let's see. You said if you want to speak at colleges, the activities department is the center for paid gigs. There's also, yep. All right, cool. Yeah. So the colleges, yeah. The number one thing for colleges is really NACA. If you can go to NACA, all the people who can hire you are there. Like, literally. That's why it's cool as hell. NACA, all the people who can hire you are there. So you said it got first paid gig for $2,500. Nice. All right, cool. So I already said, well, Aflac paid me. All right. So, all right. Let's see. You said, are you going to take us deeper down the expert marketing funnel process? Yeah. So Sean, all the expert marketing personal brand is going to be on the BenjiBruce.com site. This is why I told everyone I'm splitting the two up. If you are on BenjiBruce.com, if you're on that newsletter, you will see the expert funnels and building an audience and monetizing an audience. You will see that. If you are only on the Speaking Lifestyle newsletter, you will see none of it. Like, absolutely none. All you're going to see is stuff about paid gigs and presentation skills. I will not mix the two anymore because it's confusing the hell out of people. And so if you want to get information about building and monetizing an audience, selling your expertise, go to BenjiBruce.com or BenjiBruce.org and then sign up to the newsletter on there. And then all that stuff is going to be about the expert funnels and all that sort of stuff. If you're not on there, then, you won't hear me talk about the stuff anymore. All right. So let's see. He said, can companies all right. So you said, can companies who hire these, can companies who hires, see these messages? I want to be careful about what I post. So Maggie, in terms of the Speak Pro Academy inside the Facebook group, absolutely not. Nobody can see the messages in the Facebook group. The only people who can see the messages are the people in the Facebook group. I set it to private. And so yeah, they can't see it. Yeah, so like literally nobody on Facebook can see the messages you post inside of our group other than other Speak Pro Academy members. So you said, can't skip the hard work, builds character. Yep. You said, can we talk offline? What is NACA? All right. So all the Speak Pro Academy members, we're going to be doing calls next month in April. So that's when calls are going to start. NACA is just it's a showcase mostly for entertainers. So NACA is just a showcase where you can go there. You have to pay to be there, but you go there and all the people for campus activities, what they're doing is the campus activities people for every college, like around the U.S., they're looking for entertainers that they can hire. So they have a budget to bring in people for the college, and they're thinking like, who do we hire? So everyone goes to this showcase. They see people on stage. He's got 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They see him. They think, all right, yeah, let's hire Alon New. All right. Oh yeah, let's hire so-and-so. And so that's what they're doing. And so because all these people are there who can actually pay you, if you're there, you can start talking to them. I'm the greatest speaker in the world. You want to bring me in? And so that's what you do by going to NACA. So it's just like all the people, all the buyers are there. And that's why NACA is so cool. She said, do you recommend joining NACA or just attend the one event that they do in the fall? I don't really see why you would. Well, I guess it depends on what you get when you join NACA. I don't really know what you get when you join NACA, but if you actually go to the event, then that's where you see all the buyers. So in this, by the way, is only if you want to do colleges. And once again, if you're going to do colleges, you have to position yourself basically as an entertainer. That's what you have to really do, especially with colleges, because they're not really thinking, let's hire a speaker. That's not what they're thinking. You got to think about their customer. Colleges are thinking, okay, we have this huge budget to entertain college students. Like the colleges, they pay, I don't know, rappers, whoever, they pay people to come and just entertain everybody. And so they don't really pay like an expert speaker to come in, like, because they know that expert speaker is going to be boring as all hell. So they understand college students, there's going to be a couple hundred in a room. They're like, we don't want people to sit there and learn about freaking marketing or whatever. Like we don't want people. That's what our classes are for. We don't want people to come in and 200 people and some guys talking about marketing. We want a guy to come in there and just be entertaining as all hell. And so that's why you have to position yourself more as an entertainer if you're going to do colleges. All right, so you said, sound like it's a good entertainers, but not for motivational speakers. I mean, it is good for motivational speakers if you learn to position yourself as an entertaining motivational speaker. That's why like Brad Montgomery, he's like a comedy motivational speaker. Look at how he positions himself. He's not saying I'm an expert in water bottles or something. He's not saying that. He's like, this is a hilarious motivational speech. There's another speaker out there who he's like the motivational speaker nemesis or something. So he's I don't know how he positions himself exactly, like the motivational speaker or something. So he kind of goes up on stage. He's like, yes, I'm supposed to be a motivational speaker, but there's nothing to really be motivational about. And it's more like a comedy motivational routine that he does. Those are the people who get paid. And so you just have to understand your positioning inside of everything that you're doing. Said, what about college commencement speakers? Well, yeah, no, I mean, those commencement speakers are always like celebrities. So I wouldn't even try to go after those. Those are always celebrities that they bring in and just people from the actual college. So I wouldn't even try to do that. All right, so we are good to go. Man, for some reason, there's no questions on here, but I can see them there. All right, so we are good to go for today. So remember, if you guys want to learn more about the building and monetizing an audience, selling your expertise, go to BenjiBruce.com, sign up to that newsletter, because here on Speaking Lifestyle, all I'm going to talk about is getting paid gigs and presentation skills. If you have any questions about presentation skills, send me an email, because I'm just thinking of different types of content to create around presentation skills. So send me an email if you want me to talk about certain things, and then we'll go from there. So thanks everybody for showing up, and then I will see you guys. Let's see, tomorrow. Oh wait, let me see what the schedule's like real quick. Yeah, so tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we're going to be on the Benji Bruce Facebook group and all that stuff. And so that's going to be the content for tomorrow. So I will see you guys 9 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure, once again, if you want everything, go to BenjiBruce.com, sign up to the newsletter there. That's where you're going to see the behind the scenes stuff, all the personal stuff. That's what you're going to see on BenjiBruce.com. Here on Speaking Lifestyle, you're just going to see presentation skills and getting paid gigs. That's all you're going to see. All right. So thanks everybody for showing up. Wait, someone said didn't answer my question. Wait, hold on. Said, you didn't answer my question. Wait, where's your question? Let me see what your question was. You said, how to identify, was your question this? How to identify those people who can hire us to speak without spending too much time and energies? I did answer that question. I answered that question. I said you can't. You can't get paid to speak. You can't do this without spending too much time and energy. It's literally the exact opposite. You have to spend a lot of time and energy to get paid to speak. You have to spend a lot of time and energy to build any kind of business, especially if you want to build your expert-based business. You're spending a lot of time and energy to do that. And same goes with getting paid to speak. It is impossible to do that. The only way you can not spend time and energy is to pay other people, and then you use their time and energy. That's the only way to do it. So there we go. We are good to go for today. All right. So thanks everybody for showing up. I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. If we're on the Benji Bruce one, well, because we're going to be on the Benji Bruce one. So I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Take care, everybody. Adios.